Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. You know what time it is. The NHL 26 reveal trailer is out, and I'm going to talk about it. If you want to watch the trailer without some goof talking over the thing the whole time, links in the description to watch the full thing. But I'm going to go through this, be pausing, be talking, giving you my thoughts, and kind of dissecting what we have going on here after just so long of not hearing anything about this game. Hey, we finally know now. Roughly, a month before launch? So, interesting timing. But let's get down to it, and I'm just going to let this play because, as you'll know if you watch the trailer, there's a really well-done element to the trailer in terms of, like, the voiceover, stuff like that. But it doesn't leave too much room to actually kind of dissect what's going on. It's a lot of this. Hey, here's a quick clip of gameplay. Where it's like, yeah, I'm glad to see the Bruins' new uniforms, but then it's obviously mixed in with, elements of, hey, here's Matthew Tkachuk and Brady and, the cover stars for the game, which we'll talk about that briefly here. But yeah, in a lot of ways, there's just not too much to discuss in the opening elements of this trailer up until, and I'll have this fast forward here, because again, like I can be like, oh man, this looks really good. And then we know once we get our hands on the game, does it ever look quite that good? Not really. But the first real element to talk about in regards to this game is right here, and what you're seeing on screen in regards to Connor McDavid and the shot power that's listed for Alex Ovechkin. At the end of this trailer, it mentions the game being powered, of course, by, they love their terms, IceQ, but also NHL Edge. And, it's my hope that we're not just getting kind of fancy overlays that are just like, oh, yeah, here's the shot power. My hope is that they have done a good job in terms of implementing actual NHL Edge stats. Again, this is just available on the NHL site, and this is a resource that I have used in the past for roster editing to literally look and be like, cool, how does Leo Carlsson's top skating speed compare to the rest of the league? He's fucking fast. Let's make sure he has good skating. Like, all the info is there through NHL Edge, through freaking Hockey Reference, to have accurate attributes to what the players actually play like. My hope is that when they say powered by NHL Edge, that it is both things instead of just like, hey, it showed how fast McDavid was, or it showed how hard the shot was, but in a different way, because we've had that for a while, right? So that's my biggest hope there. It's nice to see, like, hey, NHL Edge listed. But at the same time, I do hope there's just a little bit more to it. Of course, you have a clip there in regards to the PWHL. It's awesome that the PWHL is in the game. Can it please be more than just like a season mode? Like it. Right now, the PWHL is in a state where it's just like every other league that's been added to the game, with the exception of the NHL and AHL, in terms of you can play it in season mode, but there's no franchise mode element to it. Multiple seasons. Like, right, we've had the ECHL in the game for almost a decade. That's still not a part of franchise mode. It's sweet that the PWHL is in the game. I just want to be able to do more with it than, Ultimate Team elements, which, again, I'm not an Ultimate Team guy anymore. And I certainly want to be able to do more with it than just one season at a time, especially because of the way the PWHL is set up. And some of the interesting rules they have, it would make for a really cool long-term franchise. But I digress. Of course, again, right there, it shows Connor Hellebuck making a save. And this is something that they talk about, which we'll get into after the trailer's over. You can see his initial read of dropping down to make a save, and then he reacts to the deflection to kick that out. That is something that they are actively hyping up for this year that could be interesting for goalies. I say could be because it seems like so many times we've had like, oh man, sick changes coming for goalies. And then sometimes goalies seem to be just dreadful in the game. So elements to that too. But there you go, kind of hyping up the, Kachuk's element to it. Also hyping up, I would be a pro. right? Like that idea of like, hey, you got drafted, here's Utah, stuff like that. Like, again, that is good to see as well. That, again, in terms of freaking Be a Pro, we are getting new changes there, as they've called it, reimagined, which, again, we'll talk about again shortly. But right there, immediately, that screams World Juniors, obviously. The Memorial Cup, like, for Be a Pro, if we are indeed getting more options for how to play through it, I hope you're certainly getting options to play in Europe, which needs to be a thing. Like, man, in Be a Pro, you need the ability to play wherever the hell you want to play. If you're from Finland, the greatest country on goddamn earth, if you're from Finland and you want to play your whole career in Liga, you should be allowed to do that in Be a Pro. I don't know if that's going to be the case, though, unfortunately. But I don't think anyone will deny it's an amazing thing that Be a Pro got some work this year, because Jesus Christ, did it need it in a lot of ways. Very interesting shot animation there, too, the one-handed shovel. I do wonder if that's tied to a beauty backhand type of ability, or if that's just a general shot, because, changes to X Factors have also been mentioned quite a bit here, too. Mitch Marner, of course, in the Vegas Golden Knights. Crowd, of course, hey, it looks the same. Of course it is. It's not that important, let's be honest. But as we get to the end of this trailer, of course, you get the backhand shot from Sidney Crosby. That's all well and good. You get a very similar Connor McDavid type of play. I'll just fast forward this a little bit. Again, a couple more examples of saves and just like typical highlights. Check my game. Powered by superstar attributes. What the hell does that mean? What does that mean? Just feels like a catchphrase. What does it mean? Powered by superstar attributes. Powered by superstar X Factors. Well, we know what the hell that means, don't we? And then again, Ice Cube and Edge. Of course, at the end, talks about, the week early access, which is the same thing Madden's doing this year. Actually comes out tomorrow. Talks about all the typical pre-order reward stuff for Ultimate Team and all that fun stuff. And then, of course, there's the cover, which, look, there's been a lot of talk about Matthew Tkachuk, especially because of his politics. Most of you will know I vehemently disagree with Matthew Tkachuk and the Tkachuk's family's politics, but objectively, they're really, unless you were going to go the Johnny Gaudreau path, there really wasn't a better cover star to have this year than Matthew Tkachuk. Florida Panthers have won 2 Stanley Cups in a row. He is, at least in the U.S., the face of that team. I would say in general, he is viewed as the face of that team. What better person to have on the cover right now than Matthew Tkachuk? Like I said, I can vehemently disagree with his politics, but objectively, he is the right cover athlete. And I do think it is kind of cool that we have a Florida Panther on the cover for the first time since John Van Beesbrook in the 90s. And, hey, a blue is technically on the cover for the first time since Tarasenko. And, then there's Brady Tkachuk. So there's that. There is that trailer. But what I also want to be able to talk about here, you know what, let me get things switched over. I'll be right back. All right, we're good. So what I also wanted to be able to talk about was the press release that'll be out there in different forms. This is the version that I have of it at the moment. Think, move, and play like a superstar in EA Sports NHL powered by official Edge data. That obviously just kind of reads a certain way in terms of just like, headline, whatever the hell. Individuality and legacy come to life through 3 generations of Tkachuks on the cover. Again, that feels buzzworthy, buzzword-y as well. Get ready to tell the world, check my game. Like 3 in a row of just like sanitized marketing speak. Just, ugh. That said, announcing that the Tkachuks are going to be on the cover with real-world NHL Edge positional data, NHL puck and player tracking, powering gameplay, partnership with the NHL. Again, we have to see what that's going to look like, ultimately. A reimagined Be a Pro mode that immerses players in the stakes and emotions of playing at the highest level. Also promising. NHL 26 delivers an immersive and intense experience. So here's the thing, right? If you read this initially, you're just like, all right, the Tkachuks are on the cover. NHL Edge is involved, but how, oh, when they changed to be a pro. Like, it's not a heavy-hitting start. It mentions Matthew Tkachuk, and that's fine. There's nothing there either. NHL 26 is all about individuality, setting a new standard for hockey realism. Every play plays more like their real-life counterpart, or every star plays more like their real-life counterpart, with the new IceQ 2.0, fueled by NHL Edge positional data. Again, we've heard this for years, right? That idea of like, oh, the star players play more like the star players. That's one of Madden's big selling features this year, especially with quarterbacks. Like, it sounds nice, but at the same time, how exactly are you using NHL Edge to do that? You know? Let's hope we get the details here. Real-world sports data now informs player attributes and personal tendencies. So, that's what I wanted to hear. But informs player attributes. How so? Are we getting a bigger rating scale? Are we, again, going to say that, hey, NHL Edge says Leo Carlsson's fast, so he's fast. Personal tendencies as well. Are we adding actual tendencies, into the game through attributes? Are you talking only in terms of like what abilities they might have? There's just not a lot there. Skating speed, shot power, unique behaviors, and signature moves are reflected in the game, giving true hockey fans a strategic advantage. It wasn't already? I feel like that's going to be most people's reaction. Like, wait a minute. All of these weren't properly reflected in the game before? That's kind of weird. Again, we'll see. The new goalie crease control system also makes netminders more responsive, smarter positioning, quicker, more natural saves, combined with an expanded set. Okay, we'll talk about that. But, we kind of saw that with the Hellebuck clip in the trailer. Like that idea of goalies being more responsive to what's happening. Smarter positioning and more natural saves. I hope so. We'll see. Combined with an expanded set of X factors that'll amplify his superstar abilities with unique playstyle animations and gameplay outcomes, fans will experience it even. So, an expanded set of X factors. We're getting more X factors. Then you got Matthew Tkachuk talking about being on the game. He and Brady talking about being on the game. Fully revamped fan favorite Be a Pro gives players full control over their journey from rookie to NHL superstar. Define full control. Speaking of the Florida Panthers, Carter Verhaeghe. It's been a big story about how he went from the ECHL and has won the Stanley Cup. Can I be in the ECHL? Can I do that? Otherwise, I don't think that's full control, right? Fresh storylines, new character. Okay, fresh storylines, okay, in theory, not the worst thing. If you're in a slump and the game knows it, and it's like, hey, you're in a slump, let's break out of it. New characters. That scares the hell out of me because I don't know about you guys. I don't want anything to do with the freaking 2K fucking frequency vibrations, Alex Hunter nonsense. High stakes challenges, whatever. Cutscenes that make the experience more engaging. From competing in the World Juniors to the draft. Working their way from the minors back to the big leagues. Define the minors. Are we just talking the AHL? Also, full control. You don't say anything about Europe. You're not making the most of things, are you? That's scary. NHL 26, the most true-to-life experience we've ever had. We'll see. It was created with fans who crave hockey authenticity in mind. I hope so. The ones who live and breathe the game and know how it should feel, from deeper gameplay to the biggest Be a Pro update since NHL 21. Everything we've done this year is bringing them closer. I hope so. New hut seasons, which, again, I don't care at all about Ultimate Team anymore, but hopefully if you do, that sounds cool to you. I feel like that would be a decent way to play. Players who pre-order get this. EA members can do that, and that's it. That is all it mentions. And I know it's just the initial trailer and talking about the initial things that are being added, but it comes off as just very buzzword heavy at a time where I don't think this franchise can really afford to come off as buzzword heavy. I think so many people, so many long-term fans of this series are just dying to be shown, not told. We are going to show you even in a reveal trailer and then even further in depth, that things are different, things are better. Now, again, it's a reveal trailer. I know that. We're not going to get everything. But I do also think, like, yes, it's a reveal trailer, but again, like, okay, cool, there's the draft, there's World Juniors, like, stuff like that's cool. But then you also read, the press release and the info that's there. Like, does it really instill you with a ton of confidence? I guess that's my question to you. How do you feel about this trailer based off of what is seen here, what we just looked over in text form? Does this kind of check the boxes you were hoping to see, even for an initial trailer? That's my question. Is your intrigue at least somewhat piqued? Or are you just like, oh, cool, no, I'm not really impressed? What are your thoughts? For me, I don't know. It just kind of feels like it might be another NHL, and in terms of the marketing, I get it's the typical EA way to do things. I just have seen so many friends of mine, whether it just be people that I know play this game, streamers, YouTubers, people in the esports scene, that are dying to be convinced that, hey, come back, it is worth your while. Reveal trailer, teaser trailer aside, I don't know if that will do this. So, let me know what you think. I am intrigued to read your thoughts, and I will see you guys, the next time we get a little bit more information about things. But again, I feel like a little bit more could have been said today.